Hello Bulleteers, welcome to part 2 of the bullet review over the last 7 years. Like you probably know, I started cycling back in 2013. Over the last 7 years, I've done quite a few different sporties, rides, audaxes. These are all my medals from the past 7 years. There's all sorts of things here, from sporties, audaxes, to even trophies I've won. These are the coast to coast medals. I've done the coast to coast, which, like I said in my previous video, my part 1 of my review, it starts at Watchet and finishes at West Bay in Bridport, Dorset. I've done the coast to coast every year since 2015. This one here is my Wiggles Sportive Mendit Sportive medal. There's the Tour Wessex, the Exmoor Beauty. The Exmoor Beauty started at Tiverton in Devon and came back over Exmoor, and it finished back in Tiverton again. I think there might have been 2 routes. I'm not quite sure. I can't remember because it's back 2 or 3 years ago. That's the Dartmoor Classic. There was different medals on this one. There was gold, silver and bronze, depending what time you did it in. With this one, I got gold, as I did it under 4 hours or around 4 hours. That was in pouring wet weather. I was flying and it was really, really wet. A lot of people had punctures and issues, but I thought, even though I couldn't see anything, I thought I'm just going to give it everything I've got, and I did. And I was absolutely drenched at the end of it. That's the Featherstone Wales that we did in Wales. This one here is the Wedmore 40/30 Sportive. It's a charity one. I did this one back in July this year, actually. I think it was July time this year. It's one of the few sporties I've done. We did a 40 mile, I think it was. I was told that I could have done this 30 as well and made it a 70, but I chose not to because I think it was quite cold back then still, so I just thought I'd give that a miss, as we had to go up Cheddar Gorge on the 40 miler. That one that hit here is the Great Exmoor Ride. This one started in where did this one start? This started in Taunton, in the Park and Ride, and it went back through the small lanes to different areas, and then it finished. That's right, yes, back. I remember now. Back through the small lanes to Dulverton, and then back over the moor to Exford, Weddon Cross, Rally's Cross, and then it finished in, I think it came down to Tropiquaria from Rally's Cross and finished in Blue Anchor, but going back through Watchet in Blue Anchor. It was a great turnout. The weather was lovely in Blue Anchor. It was a nice sunny afternoon, but over the moor from Dulverton through to, from Dulverton through to, tropical area at Washford, you couldn't, it was really, really cold, really wet. I was on the verge, I've got to admit, I was on the verge of packing it in, as I couldn't see anything, and my glasses were steamed right up. Plus, it was just so wet, it was pointless. I had no waterproofs because I didn't expect it to be wet so much. These are called the two more 100 Sportive. I've got two of these because I did one in 2016 and I did one in 2018. There are two routes on this one. One was a 100 miler and one was a 60 or 100k. But I chose the 100k, which I think it turned out to be about 70 miles in the end. But I'm not sure why it turned out to be 70, but it did. There's feed stations all along the way, 2 or 3 I think, at least 2. It started at Bideford in Devon, went back through places like Great Torrington and South Molton, then back to Barnstaple, and it finishes back in Bideford again. It was a great turnout. I actually really enjoyed this one because I had family down in Great Torrington, so I sort of stayed with them and then got dropped off at the start. And in 2018, or was it, or one year, my relatives, like you saw in the video on the last review, they came out to watch me go past their front door, which was lovely. These are Audaxes, like some of you probably know. This one, they're all done by different cycling clubs. A lot of these are from my cycling club, the local Audaxes. Some of them are called Exmoor Spring Audax. Some of them are called Dustman Dave's Doodle. This one started at Bishop's Lydiard and it was organised by the Wellington Wheelers. And there's some here which is called Dunkery Dash. The Dunkery Dash started in Bridgewater. It's organised by Bridgewater Cycling Club. Yeah, Bridgewater Cycling Club. There you can see there. And it went up over to Dunkery and then turned around and come back. But luckily it came up the easy side of Dunkery from Wedding Cross. But it was still pretty tough. I think over the years, I've tried it 3 times. I've completed it twice. But one year, I can't think which year it was now, but one year, I've got to admit, I did call it a day because I wasn't feeling my best and the weather was horrendous. And I was so close to home, it was easy to go home. That's a Dunkery Dash. That's another one. This one here is an Audax called Ken's Autumn Colours. It's organised by Miners Cycling Club, Miners CC. There are all very good Audaxes. I quite enjoyed doing them actually, as you can get together with team club members and you can cycle on your own or cycle with someone. It's entirely up to you. This here, I got this last year, last March I think it was, at the Cycling Club's AGM. It's an award for someone who uses Swift the most. You also get a small badge. to keep. At the end of every year, you have to hand that one back, so it'll go on to the next person who deserves it. In 2018, I got the award for the most adventurous rider for going to Mallorca, as I have never done anything major before. And then a few years ago, I did an event, surprisingly, I did a mountain biking event in Dulverton, which was called Eat Dirt on Exmoor. It was done by the Calvin Trust, and if you look on, there is actually, believe it or not, there is a small clip of me doing the event on YouTube. I have found it myself. I'd have to track it down, see if I can get it. These are all my. I bought these when I went to France. It's some of the hills that we did over in France. Like I might have said before, I'm not very good at hills, but I give it my best. But you always have to have a memory at the end of it. So I bought these. This one is a Tourmalet. This is probably the hardest hill I've actually cycled up. If you know Dunkery on Exmoor, you know that Dunkery is pretty hard. Well, Tourmalet is probably about the same or even harder. I did the Tourmalet a few times. I think 2 or 3 times at least, a couple of times at least. And then that's another one I bought. But I can't actually remember this one, but I know I've been up it. Like I said earlier, with the Exmoor Beauty Sportive, when you finish that one, you also get a mug which says Exmoor Beauty on it. I've never actually used this mug, but it's too precious to use, as I don't want to get dirty or drop it. One other sportive I have done as well, which is run by the same company or same organisation, is the Exmoor Beast. The Exmoor Beast is at a different time of the year. It's about 60 miles, I think it was. But this one with the Exmoor Beast is quite a difficult one. It goes all the way up to from Tiverton. Again, it's Tiverton through the back lanes, and then up to Rally's Cross, over to Wedding Cross, down to towards Wedding Cross, but it turns down to Timbiscombe, Heathport Cross. When I did it, it came back through Dunster and back through along to Bratton Strait towards West Luckham through the lanes to Dunkery, up over Dunkery, and then back over the top of the moor to Simmers Bath and back to Tiverton again. But with the Exmoor Beast, I remember this one quite well, because I had a puncture or slow punch. Well, it was a puncture, but I had tubeless tyres, and I had to. Someone said to me, they said, "Oh, you got a puncture." I thought, "Oh no!" So luckily, I managed to get down from Heathport Cross down to Dunster. When I saw somebody I knew who helped me change the tyre. So I managed. Someone put a tube in for me, and I managed to get up Dunkery. I did walk Dunkery because when you cycle 50 miles, your legs are tired, and back in that year, it wasn't my fittest. It was when I was sort of starting to build my fitness up again, but I carried on, and I went up. I walked up Dunkery and then back. I did finish the ride, but again, because it came past my front door, it was very, very tempting to call it a day and just go home. Unfortunately though, I didn't have any keys on me. If I had my keys, I would have just probably, more than likely, would have called it a day and packed it in. January the 5th, 2020, I took part in one of the last cyclocross races in the Southwest Cyclocross League down in Torbay at the Torbay Fellow Park. I was last in my age category, but considering it was my first season doing cyclocross and I've never done it before, I hadn't had much experience on a mountain bike because I don't do much mountain biking. I thought I did extremely well. In my age category, I had some of the best cyclocross riders in the region, and they were really experienced at what they were doing. When I went to France, to the Pyrenees, in July 2019, I was lucky enough to get to see and watch the Tour de France go up the Tourmalet. after the Tour de France came through, we all had to make a run for it. Trying to get off the hill before anybody else was a little bit of a bit carnage. It was very, very busy. There were cars everywhere, and ideally there was like, there's meant to be 2 lanes, one for the cars to go down and one for the cyclists to go down. But of course nobody really listens, so, and they didn't. So everybody's jumping from one lane to another. Anyway, so we managed to fly down the hill, and we overtook some of the cars, be on the right side, but going steady at the same time. But when we got down to near where we were staying, there was a lot of police around. So the police sort of told a few of us off, and to say, stay on that side, don't go onto the other side of the road. In March 2019, there was a few of us that went on a 145-mile ride to Bridgewater, and then we went up over Cheddar Gorge, over to Wales, and eventually we came back to Taunton. We stopped at lunch in Taunton, and then after Taunton I started flagging quite a lot, and that took us all the way through, well, at Taunton, just outside Taunton, I had to have a gel and things like that, because this is my longest ride ever that I've ever done. Then went from Taunton to Wivyscombe, Bampton, and then back up the Exe Valley to Welling Cross and home. When I got to the Exe Valley, just outside Bampton, I suddenly had a big spurge of energy, and I started, well, considering the mileage we've done, I started flying up the Exe Valley like I was going really, really quickly, which took everybody by surprise, I think, because a few miles down the road I couldn't hardly keep up. But then I was fine. I suppose I knew I was going home again. But we started the ride at about 6:45, 7 o'clock in the morning, and we finished, I think it was about 5 o'clock, half 5. It was dark, and I remember this quite well. There was 1 or 2 of us that didn't have any lights, but I think I took about 3 or 4 lights, 3 on the back and 2 on the front. The thing I have really enjoyed in 2020 was all the Bullet and Natalie rides. Natalie is a really great riding partner. There's never any issues. I really enjoy getting out and having a great ride with her and exploring different places. Over the last few months during lockdown, we've explored quite a few different routes and places. Thank you, Natalie. Thank you for all the great rides over the last few months in 2020. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, and please don't forget to subscribe to the channel. You can find all sorts of different videos and clips from off-roading, road riding, cyclocrossing and walking segments.